We're not going to let winter stop us from starting our garden. There's literally a blizzard on the way, but I cannot wait any longer to start planting some seeds. So I'm going to go over my favorite seed starting method for winter, which will actually give you a head start on your summer garden too. And you don't really need anything to make this happen. No grow lights, no seed trays, none of that fancy expensive stuff. We're just going to use a milk jug. So you may have already heard of the winter sowing method. I do have a full in-depth video explaining my whole process for this, but one of the questions that I get asked most frequently when I'm making these milk jug winter sowing gardens is, what can you actually plant in it? So today I'm going to go over my process a little bit more, and I'm going to show you some of the more unique varieties that I like to winter sow this time of year. But winter sowing is not just something that you're doing for those early spring crops. You can really use winter sowing for a lot of things. Now, personally, do I think they work great for things like tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, things like that? Not necessarily. I have heard that other people have had great success doing that, even in cooler zones. But for me, I like to start those with heat mats and all of that so that they germinate and kind of get a head start. So I'm going to start this process, and I'm going to show you how I make the milk jugs into a greenhouse, essentially, and what I plant in them. And if you want the full list of things that you can grow using the winter sowing method, I do have some of these on the list. Some of them are not on the list, but the full list is down in the description and you can grab that there. All you need is the milk jug to start. It doesn't have to be a milk jug. It could be a 5-gallon jug from vinegar or olive oil or whatever. It does need to be semi-opaque. That's pretty important so that some light can get in. The seeds won't need a ton of light. They're not going to mature in here. We're just seeds starting in here, but they do need some light. With the cap, people ask me what to do with it. I typically just take it off and get rid of it. You don't want the cap on there. So you do want it to be able to vent a little bit. This will also allow some moisture to get in. And we'll talk more about keeping the moisture levels right in here. But to start off, all we need to do is just cut our jug in half. And I like to leave a hinge where the handle is, but you don't have to do that. You could cut it completely. Safety first with your box blade, cutting away from you. This does not have to be perfect. And it's a good thing because I'm not doing it perfectly at all. So I just left us with that small hinge, so I'm going to bend that back right there. One thing that you could do before or after you cut open your jug is you do want to add some drainage holes. So you can do this with an awl or a screwdriver. I just like to push down with the box blade. It may not be the safest method. Okay, so I just put 3 small slits in the base of that jug. So for my winter sowing today, I'm actually only going to be doing one variety in the jug. But while we fill this up with the soil that we need, I'll tell you about the other varieties that I'd recommend giving a try. So I really like to add variety to my winter gardens, especially, but in spring too, really all you can do is like lettuce and radishes, it feels like sometimes. So some really quick growing varieties that you can add to that mix that you could transplant out later. Obviously there's lettuce. I like to do a mixed mesclun, or for another really awesome option, my favorite kind of head lettuce is actually butter crunch lettuce. Now lettuce, I have found the most success with just surface sowing this, whether you're in a milk jug sowing container or out in your garden. It does not need to be covered at all, but it does need to obviously be kept moist until it sprouts, and I tend to overseed it because the packs come with so many seeds. The seeds are tiny. So you can harvest butter crunch as a baby green in 21 days, or you can wait for it to become a fully mature head lettuce in about 65 days, which is only 2 months. Like, think about that. You could have a full head of lettuce for you at the very beginning of spring using this method. So we do have those 2 types of lettuces on hand. Another variety I really like is the Tegan lettuce from row 7. That's a more heat tolerant, bolt resistant variety. So if you were doing your winter sowing with the anticipation of creating crops for late spring, early summer, then you might want to try the Tegan lettuce. Another variety that I really like to grow just for a kind of unique color in the garden is Violetta baby bok choy. I love growing bok choy. I love to sear bok choy in a cast iron pan. And I just want any opportunity that I can to add like a purple element to my garden, especially because like in the cooler seasons, we often just have like a much more limited color palette where everything can be just kind of green. So anytime I can find a purple version of those greens, I will take it. So when we're adding soil to our milk jug, there's not like an exact depth that we need. Again, we're just starting the seeds in here. They're not necessarily maturing in here. So The average depth of your seed tray is probably 3 to 4 inches. So aim for somewhere around 3 to 4 inches of soil in your milk jug too, so that those roots aren't restricted as they're growing in here. And I like to just use potting mix when I'm starting my seeds. I don't use like seed starting mix, because seed starting mix you do have to add more fertilizer to over time. And we really want to just set and forget these. So with potting mix, it does have that fertilizer built in that the seedlings will need. And another really cool thing about this is if you're starting something that's not super cold tolerant, the plants will just lie in wait. They will not sprout too early and then die. You're creating a natural little protective greenhouse here, which is wonderful, but the plants kind of know. You can just kind of trust nature to run its course and go when it should go. So that Violetta baby bok choy is ready in 30 to 50 days, depending how large you want to harvest it. All right, this one I have only ever had success with germinating it correctly when I do start it using like a winter sowing method and get it outside when it's still really, really cold out. And that's spinach. Specifically, I like to grow abundant Bloomsdale spinach and winter spinach, which winter spinach I typically plant in the fall for an early spring harvest. So I would recommend doing an abundant Bloomsdale this time of year. Now, spinach does do best when it's direct sown. So in this case, we want to be focusing on varieties that transplant really well. So we just want to be a little bit more careful if we're doing a spinach in a winter sowing method, that we're very gently transplanting them once it's time to move them out of this container. Another variety that I would recommend trying for your winter sowing is kale. Of course, kale is very cold tolerant. You'll probably find that it's going to germinate pretty easily no matter what time of year it is, no matter how cold it is. And there's so many different fun varieties. This is a lacinato variety, which is also called dino kale. You see this really often in farmers markets. However, this is an ebony version, so it does have that burgundy hue to it. It's also a really nice compact variety if you're kind of gardening in a smaller space. So that can be a really fun one to try out. So we have our soil in our container. We do want to make sure that it's pre-moistened before we add our seeds to this, because once we add our seeds, if we water it afterward and the soil is maybe a little hydrophobic because it's fresh or it's been sitting around for a while, those seeds will get displaced and they won't continue to be at the right depth after you water them. So make sure that that soil is pre-moistened prior to adding your seeds to it. And then there's just a couple other steps once we get this planted. Before I get into the last few varieties I'd recommend giving a try, for this container, I'm actually going to be doing King Richard leeks. I love leeks. I think they're so fun to cook with. They're kind of like more of a mild but rich onion flavor, and they're really easy to grow. Onions in general are really great for the winter sowing method because you can multi-sow them and pack them in really tightly, and their roots don't mind being disturbed at all. So you could fill this container with onions and then pull apart the roots and transplant them into your garden, which is what I did last year, and they won't have any trouble with that. They won't go into shock at all. So you can really maximize your use of a container like this because it's not that big. You're probably getting 6 to 8 seedlings in here if you're following like real spacing recommendations for that kind of like pretend these are all like 8 cells or something. So King Richard leeks are cold tolerant down to 20 degrees Fahrenheit, and they hold really well in the garden. So you don't have to harvest them all at once, which is really nice. They do mature in about 75 days, and you want to plant them in the rows after you transplant them out about 6 inches apart. And those rows should be about 12 inches apart. For the depth of these, they just go 1/4 inch deep, which really means they don't have to get buried much at all. I never measure this kind of stuff. I just go for it, and what comes up, comes up, okay? So I'm just doing a good little teaspoon here in my jug, and I'm sprinkling it in. And you could either just add a little soil on top or just kind of shake it up with your fingers a little bit, which is my preference, and then pat it back down. And some of them won't come up, and that is fine. It's a numbers game. I definitely planted enough in here that I don't need to worry about it. So we'll talk about closing this up and what you need to look out for when you do close it up. But before I do that, a couple more varieties for you to give a try. So this is the green coin tatsoi. Tatsoi is super cold tolerant. Like when everything in my greenhouse died because it got down to like -10 in here over the winter, the tatsoi held on. It is shocking. Like it is the most resilient winter plant that you can grow. This is a rosette tatsoi, so it's really, really beautiful too. And it's something that's going to carry you through all spring or all fall and even into the winter. So I highly, highly recommend adding tatsoi to your fall, winter, and spring gardens. It's not super heat tolerant, but it's really easy to grow and it's a really beautiful plant. One of the best uses for winter sowing is actually cold stratifying things like your flower seeds, because flower seeds typically do need that period of cold to stratify and to germinate properly in the early spring. So this is a really great method to use for like your straw flowers, your snapdragons, my favorite flowers, anything like that that needs that kind of longer growing period and typically takes up a ton of space in your seed trays inside. You can just start them in a milk jug or whatever container you happen to be using for this. So flowers in general are a really great one to do in the winter sowing method. And I know I have a lot of flowers specifically on my list of what to sow for winter sowing that you can grab down in the description below. So before we close this up, you might be tempted to write on the outside of this jug what is in it. It will wash off in the elements. So it's a good idea to just put it on an actual plant tag, a plastic one. If you use like a wooden one, sometimes that will also wash off. So just a simple plastic one is the best way to go. I wouldn't write on the inside of the jug either because there's going to be a lot of like condensation buildup. Once you've watered these containers before you seal them up, you really don't usually have to water them again unless you have like an unseasonably warm day. They're going to kind of hold that moisture in because you're creating a mini greenhouse. Even with the top taken off of this, it's not all going to come out. It's going to condensate and then go back down. So we can close this up now because we do have the tag in there and the soil is nice and damp already. And I just have this paper tape that I like to use, but you can use whatever you have on hand. Duct tape will work very well. I would say masking tape's not going to work the best just because it's going to be exposed to the elements. So we want to make sure we can keep that nice and sealed. This tape needs to warm up for it to actually stick because it's like eco-friendly paper tape. Okay, so our lid is off. We've watered, we've planted, we've labeled. Now we want to make sure that we're placing these in a sheltered location outside. So we just want to keep it out of the most extreme of your elements. Like if you have a really windy spot, that's not where you want it. So up against a south-facing wall of your house is ideal. It can be in direct sun, that's totally fine. It's fine if snow or rain gets in through this top cap, it's gonna be okay. But yeah, you just wanna leave this, you can check on it however often you feel like, check in through the top there or open it up if you prefer. This is such an accessible, fun project to do, especially right now where I'm just like, oh my God, how are we about to get another 2 feet of snow? I'm so done with winter. Like as a gardener, I just can't anymore. So let me know if you'll give this a try and if you have any questions down in the comment. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And make sure you're subscribed to the Garden Girls podcast too that I film with my co-host Meg. We try to do like a really fun, just kind of casual group chat vibe, talking all things gardening. So I hope you give it a listen. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.